How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are doing a podcast today, a bit different. We're tuning in, basically doing everything pretty much for this week in one video of live streaming, so hopefully you enjoy it. Sit back and tune in. So first things first, I think we need to talk about Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith is just being called up. Well, not called up, but he's earned his dues. So he has been put into the final 25-man squad of the Africa Cup of Nations. If you think it's the World Cup, it's not. It's the African Cup of Nations. So yeah, huge shout outs to Tyron. You know what? He deserves it so much. He's a young, promising defender that is still growing in QPR and internationally. It's great to see that we've put our heights up there. We have to intrigue him in coming to QPR, and whoever that was done a great job in doing that. Because he is a very big talent. You know, he's only played one appearance for QPR, he has, and that was against Plymouth Argyle. But him and Wilkie both put in a great display. I think in that first half, you know, that they were tremendous against Plymouth. But yeah, he's reached the the QPR Youngs was originally among a 54-player preliminary list. Hopefully I've said that right. Has been included in Bafana's final. That's the coach's name, Bafana. Final 25-man party for AFCON. So like I'm only reading this on the QPR website at the moment, but it's an incredible achievement for QPR as well, that we're getting all these players now that are getting called up to international break. A lot of people might not think it's great. It really is. It's a big thing for us, because the last time, we haven't really had an exciting amount of signing youngsters come through the squad like Tyron Smith has. We have an incredible journey ahead of us with the manager, the ownership, and also Christian Nuri, who's doing a phenomenal job. But Tyron Smith will be a part of the AFCON 25-man squad. He will be, which is taking place in Morocco, starting from Sunday the 21st of December. So if you're going to tune in and watch Tyron and cheer him on, he's going to do an incredible job, I think. And I think the first 19 or 20-year-old, I can't remember what it is, but yeah, they'll be in Group B alongside Angola, Egypt, and Zimbabwe. So he will be playing some decent players, you know. I think, you know, a lot of people, not saying any names, have a lot of bad things to say about AFCON, but listen, at the end of the day, it's an important tournament to a certain amount of people, it is as well. So it's an exciting thing to bring more football into the world, and it's more important because obviously what it holds on certain people. So yeah, but Tyron Smith, we'll talk about his QPR stuff now, but I'm still waiting to see if he gets called up to the bench for QPR this season. It's going to be incredible. Right says officially, hello mate, like this new thing you got, no worries. Good to see you in the chat, mate, and much love, much appreciated on that. So yeah, in fact, let me just do this quickly. Let me just do that, sorry people. Yeah, so it's an incredible thing, man, honestly, for us to do this as well, to get these players. But yeah, he's doing really well in development squad for what I've been hearing. He's training with the first team as well, so he's showing tremendous character. To be, you know, I've heard a lot of things that he's doing really well. Players are loving him. Senior players are really loving him as well. So he's going to be one for the future, I think. I don't think he'll get called up to the first team next season just yet, but if he does well in AFCON, he might end up getting some opportunities on the bench here and there for Julian. Julian don't like to rush players. If you're not ready, you're not ready. Julian likes to put players in the position that they're gonna shine. You know, you can see Julian's rank, you can see what he does with young players. You know, the achievements are there in his credentials. So yeah, we got to take it easy with Tyron Smith. We don't want to rush him in too quick, but he's going to be a phenomenal player, so much as others as well inside of there. But he's going to be one of the players that I would say is going to be on the bench probably at the start of the AFCON. You know, I think there's other players that Bafana can put on the pitch, but we'll see what he does. So yeah, going from Tyron Smith, I know it's a bit short with Tyron Smith, but obviously it's just news of him being in AFCON. Let us know what you think in the chat. Tellboy's joined, the annoying Tellboy, the bot as I call him, average player I think. Yeah, you don't know much about him, Tell. But yeah. Anyway, moving on to obviously defensive issues with QPR. Now, we've played pretty much almost half of the season now, and I think it was the best time to come and basically before transfer window opens to speak about what our positives and what our negatives are of this season. So, positively, we've done an incredible job in recruiting great players. You know, positive sign, but unfortunately, defensive issues are still there, in my opinion, from last season. You know, last season was more defensive issues as well as injury issues. This season, injury issues hasn't really been a big part of our defensive, but it's been an incredible seeing a freshness of less injuries, but defensively it needs to improve, and it needs to improve quickly. I think we have the likes of Jake Kloxall has just come back into the squad. We have the likes of Steve Cook, we got Morrison, we got Mbenge, we got Dunn. You know, Davis can play as well at centre back. Kieran Morgan can play right back. Who else we got? Esquidina. We got a lot of centre backs that we can use. You know, a lot of people that can be put in that criteria. Wouldn't get on Celtic youth team bench. Yeah, okay, whatever you say, mate, whatever you say. He's quite talented, and he ain't ready for first team yet, but he's very talented. But yeah, the problem I can see constantly with our defensive issues is, I don't even want to say individual players, but I want to put out there as in, I think we lack certain height in that middle, and I think he's noticed it now, and that's why he's playing Jimmy Dunn in the middle a lot more, and it's been on point. It's been superb, apart from the previous game against Norwich where we've literally got thumped up completely at Carrow Road. Really disappointing it was, watching that game. I don't know if any of you saw it, but if you was watching, it was terrible, so terrible. I just lost the energy to even, you know, bother. I did try my best to keep positive, but when that third goal went in, and looking at what he did in the second half, it wasn't great. So yeah, but Steve Cook, I think, you know, he has his good days and he has his bad days. And this is why I bring in why we need to use tactics a lot better in these defensive issues, because I just don't think he will do well with Jimmy Dunn, Steve Cook. He's more of a player if you're playing a team with less height up front and more of a possession side. He would do a lot better in the centre back with someone, say, like Morrison or Jake Kloxall or even Mbenge, you know. But I think the biggest thing that he needs to do right now is Mbenge needs to get out right back. You know, I know he is a born right back or wing back, but he needs to get out right back. He's pacey as hell, but he loses the ball too much, and his control and his crossing, it's not great, you know. I feel like his best position for us is centre-back. If him and Jimmy Dunn in that centre-back positions, I reckon we would have probably got a draw out of that Norwich game, you know. I think Steve Cook, for me, I wouldn't say he's done with, but I would say he needs a lot more bench time. You know, I'm not saying stick him on the bench, but I will say if someone is performing better than he is, then you need to play him and rotate it into a tactic where you feel like it works best. So yeah, Harvey Elliott has joined as well the chat. Hopefully you're okay, mate. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome back. Johan Barnett, Barbe, you mean? No, he's useless, mate. I'm never talking. Like I said, I'm not talking about Johan Barbe today, man. I don't like the guy. I don't think we should ever sign him. But yeah, I also think Sam Field. I think when you talk about Sam Field, is it, where is the FC26? Oh, mate, I've been so busy at the moment with stuff, so it's been pretty hard to fit in certain games. So at the moment the focus is on certain things. So if I get a chance to jump back on it, I will. But right now, I would say this, this is at the moment what it can be. But FC26 possibly soon. I'm not gonna make any promises on that because I don't know what's going on with it. But yeah, But thank you for commenting on that, man. Honestly, I know a lot of you are probably missing it, but yeah, it's hard to fit in everything all at once when, you know, your main focus is pretty much QPR news or everything like that, you know. But yeah, going on about Sam Field, I think Sam Field is cracking, doing a great job at left back position. I think he's got a lot of options in left back. Julian does, but I personally think Sam Field right now and Norrington Davis would be the great combination of rotation in that left back position. You know, I know that third goal that went in for Norwich City. You know, Sam Field was nowhere to be seen, but I think Steve Cook should have done a better job as well at defending that and blocking that. You know, you can't be doing finesse shots from that area and getting completely done, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Walsh is in goal against West Brom. If he's back. With obviously watching that result, he's probably got annoyed by it. Julian. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does go into that game with Joe Walsh in the goalkeeper position. So yeah, but yeah, defensive issues. I think we need to work on a bit of stuff. I think, especially if Steve Bold is at the club. You know, Steve Bold is technically meant to be a great coach in defensive abilities, but I'm not seeing it at the moment. You know, our defensive abilities have not been great. You know, there's times where I would say we're giving away the ball too much, and we need to focus more on pushing it up into the half and then playing the ball. But there's days that were brilliant and there's days that are bad, you know. And I think moving Jimmy Dunn to centre-back position is the best choice that he's made in a while. I just think Benge definitely should be in that centre-back position as well. So yeah. Right, transfer talk. Now, I know obviously nothing's really been said about transfers for QPR, but one of the main things I think we need is a centre back. I do, and it's not because obviously, you know, we have enough centre backs, but I think we need someone that's gonna do the job right now, and I think our main focus should be Ronnie Edwards for sure. You know, Ronnie Edwards knows the club. He's done well at the club. And I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to move. You know, he clearly has family that love QPR. And he clearly ain't getting game time at Southampton. And Southampton's head coach at the moment, temporary, is doing a cracking job in that role, but he's still not playing no Ronnie Edwards. So I thought priority wise transfers, Ronnie Edwards should be first. And possibly, I think we need to focus on a right back scenario. If we're not playing Kieran Morgan, I would say we need to focus on a right back as well. I think midfield, I feel we're okay for midfield. I think honestly now, I would just say, just play this youngster, Isak Alexander. I would just say, just give him a shout. He seems to be killing it for development squad. You know, if you put him on the bench, he has Champions League experience or Europa League experience. So yeah, I would say give him a shout. See what he does. Striker wise, now I don't think we need a striker. I don't think we need any wingers, no more mid, you know, any attacking midfielders. We're totally fine in that prospect. I don't think we need to panic and go in and buy anyone like that. So yeah, I think right now, if we're gonna do anything, I can see people being sent out on loan, probably, such as maybe Michi Frey, possibly Collie, possibly I hate to say it, but Kieran Morgan might. Possibly, I would probably send Escudino as well out on loan, maybe just to get some game time. But yeah, I would say I wouldn't be surprised if Frey gets sent out on loan. But I also wouldn't be surprised if Zancella gets confirmed sold in January. You know, I think he's enjoying it out there. I haven't really focused much on him for the last couple of months, but I think he's really enjoying life in back, obviously in Germany. So yeah, I think main priority is probably selling him on to bring in funds maybe for another player. Maybe it is to hold the wage bill for Ronnie Edwards. So yeah. But for transfer talk, that's all I can say right now for us. Harvey Elliott says we should sign Daniel Barton. Is that guy from Cambridge, if I'm not mistaken? Let me have a look. I think it's the guy from Cambridge. I'm not sure, who played against QPR. Yeah, I agree. No, listen, Harvey, you have pulled out an absolute gem there. Honestly, Daniel Barton is a one to watch. You know, how old is he again? He is 20 years old, right? Now, when we played Cambridge in the Carabao Cup, I believe it was last season, he was phenomenal. You know, I've not seen a player like that for a while. You know, Daniel Barton is a cracking player. He hasn't played much, I don't think, for Cambridge. But I'll be honest, I agree with that. That is a good shout, Harvey. You know, I honestly believe he is a cracking youngster. Daniel Barton to QPR, that would be great. I think that would be great in the sense of possibly for the future. He'll probably be put in a development team or sent back out on loan to Cambridge, possibly. That would be brilliant. But yeah, I have big shout outs to Elliot for that one, I would say. See Daniel Barton, yeah, for sure. Now let's move on to development squad. I think we should. Now the development squad is very important for QPR right now. The development squad needs a lot more focus, I think, in the window. A lot of people might say I'm just, stop talking shit. But I personally think that the development squad needs a couple more players. We're sending certain players out on loan to, I would call amateur leagues. Vanarama, whatever it is. I see Dylan's been his Enfield loan has been extended on Dylan, but I think the players that I've seen at the moment, so I believe the development squad just played yesterday, I think it was, against Cray Valley. We actually won 7-3. Trying to think who the goal scorers was. Who was the goal scorers? Let me have a look who the goal scorers was. Just got to get this back up. Match report. It doesn't say who the goal scorers was. It does say. So a hat-trick from Philip Saniolo Now, Philip Saniolo is a youngster for QPR who's really doing well. So, yeah. Hang on, let me just read the comment. Nick Budimir, welcome back to the chat. Much appreciated to come back, tune in. How are you doing? Bottom line is, with all the players were signed are great, but the thing is there are gaps, goalkeeper, centre back, but we need to be realistic, bearing in mind new manager, new players, shot pre-season injuries. Yeah, we need time next season to mount something strong with those missing links. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's spot on as well. I think that is very spot on. So yeah. But yeah, yesterday's hat-trick from Saniolo, a double from Daniel Benny, Alex Ora, Tyron Smith, they all had opportunities. But yeah, it was a cracking win, it looked like. This youngster for QPR is doing well. Probably talk about him next time. But on the development side, I think we got a great squad. But I still think we need to focus a bit more on bringing in a couple of youngsters again. I think Akadinelli could be one for next season. He's looking really good as well. You know, Wilkie's looking good. So yeah, I'm just trying to see. Daniel Benny, obviously, you know, I think we need to send him out on loan to get some experience. Jay Pearman looks great as well. Adamson, I don't know what's going on with him. There's not really much talk about him at the moment. So yeah. But yeah, it's cracking jobs out here for the development squad, and QPR really pushing it to basically improve in our youth, you know, which is incredible. You know, all we can do is keep doing our best, sign the right ones, and go from there. You know, I do miss Harry Murphy. I think Harry Murphy is a quality defender. I really do. No, not defender, attacker. And we do obviously surely miss him. You know, I think he is a person that reminded me a bit of Ilya Share in his younger days. But it was really tough to see him go. You know, I was a big fan of him. He did score in the Premier League Cup final. And yeah, he hopefully, you know, whatever he's doing now, I just hope for the positives for him in moving on up there. So yeah, he deserves the best, you know. So yeah, that's it for pretty much development squad. But moving now on to the main one, which is West Brom preview show. We got West Brom obviously on Saturday. We got a big game at Loftus Road. We do. So yeah, let's get on to the other screen. Right, so QPR preview show against West Brom. We are going into this pretty much 50-50, you know. I would say realistically we're not looking great going into it, to be honest. We're looking pretty much like strugglers, you know. West Brom are out of form as well. You know, we're tipsy-topsy at the moment with what we got 3 decent games and a loss. You know, West Brom are clearly where are West Brom? They're above us by -2 goal difference, you know. So yeah. I don't know, obviously I've put something different here on the under the QPR v West Brom. That's just seasonal stats for West Brom, obviously players to watch out for. So yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough game, I would say. You know, a lot of people probably going there thinking, oh yeah, it's only West Brom, we're gonna beat them and stuff like that. But from where I'm looking after that previous result against Norwich, it's gonna be a very, very noisy Loftus Road and a very, very difficult game. You know, what we need to look out for is definitely the forward line. The forward line has so much attack for West Brom. They have assists, they have goals. You know, the one person that looks like he's doing a cracking job well, not even one, 3 players, I would say, and that's their striker Hegebo, their attacking midfielder Price, and their left winger Johnson. 6 assists, 2 goals, 2 assists, 5 goals for Price, 2 assists, 6 goals for Hegebo. You know, so it's very attacking, and obviously they got Illing Jr. as well, which is a big problem for us. You know, pace down the wing, cracking shot, very skillful, flair, could possibly be whoever's down the left hand side for us, depending who that is. Welcome to the chat. Hopefully you're having a great day. Good to see you coming back. I'm all good, thank you. I much appreciate for that. But yeah, I think Illing Jr. is going to be a danger man for us, for sure. You know, long shots West Brom do a lot, as we know from the past. You know, their defensive abilities as well is pretty good. You know, they've got Chris Betham, Alfie Grillhurst, you know, Griffiths in goal, Styles left back, you know, Mowat and Malumbi in the midfield. You know, it's a great team that should be doing a lot better than they should be. But like I said, depending on the coach and the tactics, sometimes it can go a bit tipsy-topsy. So yeah. But West Brom are, let's have a look at West Brom's stats. So they beat Swansea their last game 3-2, draw to Birmingham 1-1, lost to Coventry 3-2, beat Oxford 2-1, and lost to Charlton 1-0. Now, compared to us, obviously coming off a Norwich 3-1 loss at Carrow Road, we have a lot to basically get into this game. You know, I think we need to get into it and focus on pretty much counter-attacking football, I would say, because West Brom are, I would say, a well balanced team when it comes down to possession and momentum. You know, expected goals as well. As you can see, they got goals everywhere around the whole pitch. We need to, I would say, probably Jimmy Dunnan and Benge for sure in that set in the centre back positions for sure. You know, we need to focus on the crosses that look like they're going to come into the box a lot. We need someone on that left hand side that's a bit pacey and strong. So I'd probably put Norrington Davis left back in that game to just stop Illing Jr. if he does play. And we also, like I said, we need Jimmy Dunnan and Benge at that back four, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm more worried about the midfield threading balls through to their striker. He's a brilliant striker. He's finishing it well, but Price as well, he's doing a cracking job for West Brom. I would say right now on the right hand side, it's kind of hard to say who to put, but maybe even putting 3 at the back might be best, you know. Jimmy Dunn and Benge and Cook. But right back wise, I'd probably say Kieran Morgan might be the best shout at the moment. But yeah, that's that's what I think personally on what I'm looking at now from West Brom. You know, looking at what they got in defense on how we're gonna attack, I would say the only way we're gonna score goals if it's wing play goals, and it has to be low crosses, I would say. Personally, that's what I think. I think if we play Michi Frey, it might be a problem. You know, I think he won't get any goals against West Brom unless we're putting in big crosses to him to hold off players. Then yeah, so yeah. Wham says West Brom are fairly good side. Probably discount their Coventry result because everyone loses to Coventry. Well, everyone loses to Coventry, but no one gets ashamed by Coventry apart from us. So yeah. But going into this game, I would say it's going to be a big game for us for sure. So yeah. I think a draw coming out of, if we win this, it's going to be a big win for us, but a draw looks like it could be the only thing that I can see coming. If we lose, I'll be like, what the hell, you know, you know, we can't be losing at home to this, you know. So yeah, but big games coming up. Obviously we'll talk about that obviously when they come, but yeah, very big games. coming up. So yeah. Well, that is gonna be it for tonight. We'll catch you definitely on Saturday to watch the Cupra v West Bromwich Albion game, and we will go from there. So yeah. One more comment, obviously Wham says, West Brom are a fairly good side, probably discount their Coventry result because everyone loses to Coventry. Yeah, I think I read that already, didn't I? Yeah, cool. Anyway, right, well, we'll leave it there. Like I said, I know Ryan said this is good to see a new thing, but like I said, today we're just trying something new, just try and see how it does. Yeah, hopefully, we'll get somewhere with it eventually with timing. Like I said, when I work, it's kind of like I work constantly, so to fit everything in at once is kind of a struggle. So I'm just trying my best to kind of do something equally, and yeah, we'll go from there. But we'll catch you Saturday. Stay tuned, and peace, love, positivity. We'll catch you next stream. Catch you in a bit.